We live.
Con, we live.
Khan, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, wa Malak, Yahushai. Another double honors to the elders. Shalom to the brothers, to the sisters that's out there in the highways or brothers out there in the highways and byways, and the sisters that's keeping it down at home, watching over the young ones, right? Teaching the young ones, and to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, wherever you may be, right? The title of this lesson, this cold cut, rather, is Suffering Sin for a Season. All right, we didn't make up that term. We didn't make that up. That's in the scriptures. All right, we want to dive right into it to get the full understanding of what that means. This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23. By faith, when he was born, it's like by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And we read the account in Exodus, which we'll pull eventually, right? He refused to be called the son, Slakia. He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. In other words, he's refusing the title that could have been bestowed upon him. That's a high ranking title to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. In other words, you make all the rules, you do anything you want, you get away with anything. You get the money, the women, the power. That's not just, yeah, you're just the son of the Pharaoh's daughter, whatever. No, you have a lot of power and jurisdiction. You own land, animals, gold. You do whatever you want, damn near. That's what comes with being the son of Pharaoh's daughter. But he refused it. He abstained from these high and lofty titles that man tried to give upon him. Verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. You understand? And seasons, they aren't forever. Seasons for a little bit, right? You got the 4 seasons, but in this case, it's just saying, hey, he rather suffer and be afflicted with his people, with his own brethrens, than selling out. All right. And it's expedient that we go over this in these last days because recently in the news, if you've been watching, keeping up with the backups, cold cuts, with everything else in ESPN, CNN, you will see a lot of our people, they're showing their real colors, their true colors. Right now, it's been known a little bit here and there who are the coons, the coonalites, but now it's really, really showing. Right. And again, I'll read it again. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And that's deep. And it says this, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect to the recompense of the reward. By faith, he forsook Egypt, right? And by faith, you have to forsake Babylon and all the things that it has to offer, money, women, right? If you want more money, typically you have to go against what the Lord said and break the Sabbath, right? And do things outside the commandments. I'll read it again. By faith, you forsake Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king. And that's deep. You have to not fear the wrath of the kings and the lords and the princes of this earth because they'll threaten you. Well, you read about that in Acts, right? They literally they beat them up, man. I'll get it real quick so I can just Acts 16. This is the book of Acts, chapter 16, verse. I'll start up at 21. I'll start at verse 20. And brought them to the magistrates. Those are the lords or the rulers, the judges of the land, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. And this is coming to a city near you, where people gather you up, call the police, and they say to the police and a chief police, these men are troubling our city, and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. And that's what they went through. Now, Paul could have sold out and said, well, hold up. I didn't mean to do that. He could have said Salakia. He could have said a whole lot of things. But hey, he took that beating for the Lord. Because our affliction here in Babylon is light work. Whatever hell they try to put us through, that is light work. That's what you have to tell yourself in your mind. And that's indeed what it is. It's light work. That's in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1. I'll pull it real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken from misery." Right? "And their goings from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality." Right? And your hope has to be full of immortality as your forefathers, such as Paul, such as Moses, and all the other apostles and the prophets of old. Your hope has to be full of immortality. I'm doing it for the kingdom, for the Lord. The Lord gave up his life for me. And I can suffer this affliction. This is light work for me. So let me go back to in Acts 16.
Hey, let me get after you, Ken.
Okay, Khan. Oh, I'm gonna get two more, Salakia. I'm gonna finish up in 16. Go back to Hebrews 16 and 21. "And teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them." All right, so let me go back to Romans 11:25 one more time. "Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season." All right, all of this is going to be expounded further in the video, but just bringing it out, just the icing on the cake. "Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible." With that, I yield.
Khan, shalom, Israel. Lord willing, everybody's enduring through the spirit, fighting demons, staying 10 toes down for the name of the Lord, doing everything they could do to magnify Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? Like the brother was going into, we're living in the last days, man. And in the last days, you're going to have a lot of people doing what? They're going to be being cowards. They're going to be yielding their spirit and their life unto the society, man. They're not going to stand strong in this truth. What they're going to do is they're going to bow down to the American flag. They're going to bow down to the so-called white man. And they're going to bow down to every damn doctrine and philosophy that's presented before man in the last days. If you're not on fire and diligent and have a sound mind and understanding, then you're going to flow right along with this world, man. And the Lord said, follow not a multitude to do evil, man. And who does evil? Everybody that's not rooted in this truth. Everybody that doesn't have an understanding how to serve the Lord. And what's truly important in the last days, man. And where your heart and your spirit actually lies. Does it lies in these scriptures and the truth and the Most High God, or does it rely in this world? Are you afraid of death? Are you afraid of the outcome of losing your job, your wife leaving you, your children denying you? That's what it's boiling down to, man. Because the pleasures of sin are what, man? Cars, money, women, so-called jewelry, so-called society and wealth and a good name, a Fortune 500 company. These things aren't going to give you everlasting life, man. You have certain men in the ancient world, just like you want to have men now, that traded on their own brother, that turned their own brother in, man, for the pleasures of sin, for titles, right, to be high up with the so-called white man. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse number 5. There came unto him all the wicked and ungodly men of Israel, having alchemists who was desirous to be high priests for their captain. So you had all of the wicked men presenting themselves, you understand, in the ancient world for titles and going the hell off. Jumping down to verse 9. And him he sent with wicked alchemists whom he had made high priests and commanded that he should take vengeance on the children of Israel. So he departed and came with a great power into the land of Judea, where they sent messengers to Judas and his brethren with peaceable words deceitfully, man. Check that out. You're going to have certain men that come with peaceable words. How's your family doing? How's the camp? How your children been? Everything okay with your wife? How's that job holding up? Hey, brother, how your back? I know you got back problems. Hey, these things ain't nothing new under the sun, man. You still have the same wicked, conniving, seducing, creeping men of the ancient world, man. Jumping down to verse 23. Check this out. It says, now when Judas saw all the mischief that Alchemist and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen. So you can have certain of your brethren, they're doing more mischief and more even above the heathens, man. And that's really deep when you actually think about it. You're doing more mischief than the heathens, man. That means you got to be extremely evil. You're going to have a lot of traitors in the last days. And guess what? They're going to look just like you. They may be from the same tribe you are. And they may have whole camp with you, man. They may use your own fleshly mother or father or child. You understand? Or children. These things are going to get deep. And mind games where Esau likes to play. You know, you have war tactics where you get ammo and paint. And then you get down. You got guerrilla warfare. You got monkey this and Tybo and all of these different fighting styles and armies and different sets of the Navy, the SEAL, this, that. But you're going to have the same with certain men trading on you, man. They're going to be looking just like you, your same height, your same complexion, and they're going to be pointing you out in the last days, man. And if you don't have a sound mind and understanding, then guess what? You're going to be put to death, man. And you're going to have what? Denied Yahweh Shah. Let me get this real fast. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men. When did the Lord tell you to justify yourself before man? You know what? I'm going to make it in here. You know what? I'm going to be a president. You know what? I'm going to be a theologian and a philosopher. I'm going to be a damn scientist. I'm going to be some type of school teacher. I'm going to be some man of renown. And the Lord not dealing with none of that, man. It says, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. Check that out. So if things are highly esteemed among men, what's highly esteemed among men? Football players, basketball players, singers, athletes, celebrities, Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, all of these so-called men, and even the elites, man, that nobody even knows their names. Things that are highly esteemed, wearing suits, right, getting all type of degrees. And those things are abomination to the Most High. The Most High is not dealing with that. He's not in the idea of you chasing the American dream to fit in with the society. Right, let me get one more real fast. I'm about to pass it. Right, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11. You get this quick precept in Jeremiah, the 11th chapter. And when you actually think about it, man, what's highly esteemed in this world? Folly is highly esteemed, man. Everything is, they put folly on a pedestal, but they put truth on the back burner. They cover it up. They don't want you to know who you really are. It's going to take a strong mind and a strong man and woman in the last days, you understand, to be able to fight and understand what's going on in this thing. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11 and verse 18. And the Lord had given me knowledge of it, and I know it. Then thou shewest me their doings, but I was like a lamb or an ox that brought to the slaughter. Hey, Jeremiah said he was like a lamb that was brought to the slaughter. Why? Because everybody hated him. They hate that he shook the hand. They hate that he told the truth. They hate that he was upright and told men what they didn't want to hear, man. It says he was like a lamb to the slaughter. And I knew not that they had devised devices against me. So who devised devices against Jeremiah? The wicked. Who's Jeremiah symbolic of? The prophets, the men of old, man. And they're going to devise devices against us. They're going to try to cut so-called, if you don't get the jab and the beast thing, you can't go in the grocery stores anymore. You know what? If you don't bow down to the beast, you can't feed your children anymore. You know what? If you don't do X, Y, and Z, it's going to be impossible to get gas, to move around, to possess a car, to be able to clothe yourself. A lot of things are going to happen that's going to get very uncomfortable for Israelites in the last days, man. And you got to say one thing, man. Am I going to serve the beast and bow down into this image? Or am I going to serve the Most High? And these are the same things our forefathers did, and it's going to happen right back on the earth. It says this. They have devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. And that's what they're going to do to the Israelites, man. And the Lord said, all them that live godly shall suffer what? Persecution. And that's a fact, man. So if you're going to be in this truth and understand what comes with it, man, understand that your peoples might leave you, everyone may deny you, and you might be by yourself in the wilderness, but nothing but the angels you cannot see, and the faith that you have possessed all this time. You got it.
Playing back off what the brother was saying regarding regarding the devices. Right now, Esau has a lot of devices. It's not the device like a go-go gadget. It's not a tool belt device. It's not those silly ass technology. It's talking about snares and traps, right? That's really enticing, right? A gift is a snare and a trap that can seem enticing, such as, like you said, a car, a Bugatti. You've been thinking about a Bugatti. Now you're seeing all the little Bugatti commercials. You see the advertisement, buy one, get one free, Bugatti. And that's a snaring device. And brothers, you lusting after it. I was just thinking about that. Well, that was Satan. That was Satan trying to lure you in with a car. Right now you're working overtime to get a car that could break down any minute. That's wicked. Saying his devices is endless. You understand? And he's going to use everything in his tool bag to dismantle you and to break you down and to make you fold. And he knows what your weaknesses are, right? Usually we say money, family, gold. It's a lot more too, you know. But let me just get it. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You have to not be ignorant of his devices. I mean, if you're ignorant of his devices, and you're finished. If you don't know how Satan is trying to attack you and come to you right now, I mean, that means you damn near lost already. You have to know, first of all, you have to examine yourself to know what your weaknesses are. So when you feel tempted, oh, that's Satan. My discernment is allowing me to perceive that this indeed is Satan. So I rebuke him. But the only way you can do that is if you acknowledge it's like acknowledge your faults, examine, and be circumspect. But if you don't examine yourself daily, right? If you don't examine yourself daily, and somebody asks you how you feeling through the spirit, has Satan been attacking you? You just say nope, 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 nope. You say nope 365. No, that means Satan is he got you. You're done. He got you in a chokehold. If you're that brother or sister, always say, I'm straight through the spirit. I'm good. You shouldn't always be good. That means you're not going through the curses. But let me get this other one. This is Luke chapter 7, verse 47. It's like verse 40. Where is that? It might be later. Bear with me. I have to find it. I just had it too. You got it real quick. I gotta find this verse. I just read it.
And I'm about to bring this up. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11 and verse 7. I earnestly protested unto your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, obey my voice. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of an evil heart. So the Most High said, man, every one of our forefathers, they walked in an imagination of an evil heart. What is your evil heart? That's your lust, man. Whatever you incline, whatever you want, whatever your eyes will lust and look upon, man. And the Lord said in the book of Sirach, chapter 31 and 13, what is more wicked than the eye? For it weepeth upon every occasion, man. And your eye is going to behold everything. Strange women, doctrines. It's going to behold fear, trembling. It's going to behold them bright lights, them carnivals. It's going to behold everything to sift you out in your mind in the last days. That's why your eye has to be single, man. Right? Let me get this quick precept.
Okay.
Let me get this quick precept. It's the book, right? I'm going to go to Psalms, chapter 106. Shalaki, bear with me. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 106, right? In verse, I'm gonna start at 21, and it reads, they forgot God their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, And they said they forgot. You know, how do you forget something when you're entertained with something else? That's how you forget. If your mind is occupied on the scriptures all day, how can you forget it? If your mind's occupied on the Most High all day, how can you forget them? But when your mind is occupied on other things, then what happens to that? Your mind starts to not think and remember and want and yearn and desire the thing that it once remembered, man. And the Lord says, strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. Who I have not found thy works perfect before God. You know? So the Lord says what? They forgot their God. Still like they forgot God, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt. Wonderful works in the land of Ham and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses had chosen, stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Yet they despised the pleasant land, they believed not his word. Now, what does it mean they despised his pleasant land? Meaning they didn't want it. They didn't do the things that was required as a necessity to obtain these things, man. And you literally could do the same thing. You could despise the pleasant land. What's the pleasant land in the spirit? The kingdom of heaven, Jerusalem, Judea. You understand? The gates being open and never shut, so the righteous could walk in and out of these things. These are the things you have to desire. Now, if you despise them, then what are you actually doing? You're putting your pleasure and your heart and your desire in Egypt. You're putting it in Babylon the Great. You're putting it in this great horde to defile you, man. It says, but murmured in their tents and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. What's your tent now? Hey, this is our tents, our bodies. These are our tabernacles. These are our vessels. These are our temples, man. So we murmuring in our tents. We're murmuring all the day long in Egypt. These are the same things happening all over again. It says this, verse 26, therefore he lifted up his hand against them to overthrow them in the wilderness. What's the new wilderness? We're walking around in the wilderness. That's the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, verse 14 all the way down, man. This is the wilderness. This is the dry land, like David talked about in the book of Psalms, chapter 63 and verse 1 all the way down, man. This is the desolate place that does not have any water in it, any life, pumping nothing but cisterns of cesspools and philosophies to berate and bewitch our people, man. It says, to overthrow their seed among the nations and to scatter them in the lands. Check that out. They joined themselves unto Baal Peor and ate the sacrifices of the dead. What's the new imagery, man? Caesar Borgias. What's the new imagery? Media, right? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. These are the new idols and imageries and demons we bow down to in America. We don't perceive it. We don't even realize that these things have a sift or a pull on our spirits, man. What do you do before you wake up? Do you pray? Do you read? Do you get your spirit together? Do you examine? Or do you jump straight to your phone, which is your God? You jump straight to your woman or your job. You jump straight to God knows what before you understand what it is that you're even living for. These are the imageries and things that you bow down to in Egypt. You got it.
Can you hear me?
Khan.
And this is 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 14. This is an account of what you were speaking of. This is terrible. That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar. Right? And it's not because they got bored. Well, yeah, you could say they got bored. You know, they didn't like it no more. But for what reason? Let's keep reading. But despising the temple. They didn't even say, I don't want to do it anymore. They started despising it. They just start looking around. I hate this place. That's how they was moving. That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices. Hasting, it says hasting. I'm going to Google that word real quick. The definition of hasting. Quickly. If I'm not rapidly, right? Quickly. So in haste, hastily, Salakia, despising, neglecting the sacrifices, hasting to be partakers of the unlawful allowances in the place of exercise. So they was real quick to do it. Instead of chasing after the Lord, they made a U-turn and chased after idols. After the game of discus called them forth. So the Lord calls you forth, and we read about that in First Timothy, I believe, the fourth chapter. You have a vocation, you have a calling, right? But their calling was once to serve the temple, to dedicate it, to make the sacrifices, to serve the Lord in sincerity and in truth. But discus called them forth, and they ran towards discus, throw a damn disc around back and forth, butt naked towards each other. Butt naked, no armor, no gear, just ass naked, just throwing a disc in Rome, in Greece. That's very foul and wicked. You don't want to be that guy, right? You was in this truth one moment, and then you just, I love the things of this world. I like eating at McDonald's and their apple pies, even though they have pork in it. So what? It's just one Saturday I gotta work. And it didn't happen overnight. They got enticed, right? They fell short because of Satan's devices. And I'm sure discourse was fun, right? And that's how they fell short. They was probably promoting it. Hey man, it's sweet, man. You got a little thing, you do that, you just jump up, you get 10 points, whatever. They was really enticed, you know. So let me bring out this other one real quick. This is Luke 7:43. It's like it's Luke 7:47. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. So you have to love the Lord much. If you love him little, and your sins are going to wax fat, and once they wax fat, you're going to have a terrible death, because the wages of sin is death. I'll read it again. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. You don't want to love the Lord a little bit. I'll read just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, a little is going to be forgiven. You just did all this amount of sin. I'll read just 5 minutes. So what? 5 minutes. Hey, instead of all the prayer repentance that you ask for the Lord, instead of all of them being wiped down, only a little bit is wiped down. You want to have a clean slate with the Lord. You want to have a clean slate with Yahweh Shema Shai. Imagine that. You love the Lord a little bit. That's terrible. Now, you don't have to say it. You don't have to say you love the Lord a little bit. You show it. Or you showing it through your actions, by not praying, by not reading, by not studying as much. So, only you and the Lord knows how much you love him. Only you and the Lord knows. You got to take that in consideration, because the more you love him little, the more you're going to love something else a lot, because if you're not loving the Lord, what else are you loving? You wake up in the morning, you can barely see, damn it. You just rub your eyes. You looking at the bright ass phone, you can barely see. You're worshiping it. You can barely see in the morning. The ass crack of dawn, I know I got a notification. She texted me back. That's off. You wake up, you hurry up. You said what?
Lusting.
Just lusting. She texted me back. Yeah. Kwame Sharella. Jake, you rejoice over the simple things. That's madness. You wake up late for work, instead of throwing up a quick prayer that you make it on time, you just, you run out, take a quick Chinese shower, as they say. You put toast in a damn toaster, you put it in your mouth, you pet your dog goodbye, and you run out. You're tied up. You just run out, start the car, eating your toast, and you're still late. Brother, you could have prayed. Most High got you. I got one more verse. I got one more. The Most High has you. You just got to meet him. You got to meet him. You got to meet him there. This is Luke. Not Luke, Salakia. Psalms. Here we go. This is Psalms 77:8. Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doth his promise fail forever? Because when you stop loving the Lord, you think, maybe the promises are gone. I mean, we still here. I'll focus my attention towards something else. You can't think like that because he just said, saying rhetorically, is his mercy clean gone forever? Doth his promise fail forevermore? Hath God forgotten to be gracious? Hath he in his anger shut up his tender mercies? Salah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely will I remember thy wonders of old. You got to remember all these things. Because if it's constantly in your mind, and you're going to fare well. And not only that, you're going to have the faith. Oh, yeah, he did do that for me. He did do that for me. Okay, let me stop tripping. Let me read some more then. But you have to honestly, sincerely have the Lord in your mind. I yield.
Con. And I want to get 2 Timothy 3 and 8 all the way down. 2 Timothy 3 and 8. Now, as Janus and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. You have certain men, they just have corrupt minds, man. Their mind can't stay focused. It's always glaring off, man. You know when you used to so-called be in school and the teacher, she on the chalkboard, listen up. She banging that long stick, man. This is what we're going to go into today. And you just looking out the window, man, looking at the birds, the bees, that turtle, minding his business, looking at the drunk at the bench across the street. Right, and the next thing you know, they're passing out the final, man. You sitting up there, you don't know what the hell is going on, and then you fail. You got certain men, they just got corrupt minds and they reprobate. They keep pulling back. Reprobate means to withdraw. You withdraw yourself from the Lord. You withdraw yourself from fasting. Withdraw yourself from praying. Withdraw yourself, you understand, from reading. You withdraw yourself from loving your brother, and you don't know what you want to do because you withdraw to it when you perceive that all hell is breaking loose. But when things cool down, then you withdraw again, man. When you're so-called on fire, or a brother's lifting you up trying to pray with you or fast with you, or it's the weekend, and you're around your brothers, you pull close to the truth. But after you go back to so-called a week, Monday through Thursday, you withdraw yourself back into your folly, your pleasures, your video games, your music, your demonic thinking, man, and your lust, and your concupiscence, and all manner of evil, wicked desire that you put on a pedestal, man. And the Lord said this, but they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all. So, I mean, don't think that what you're doing is going to be hid from the Most High. The Most High is going to see you, and your folly is going to be manifest before all. Because when you finally fall out the truth, because you haven't read in 3 days, and you finally fall out the truth because you haven't fasted, and you finally withdraw, and that'll be your last straw, it's going to be manifest before all men, man. Unto all men, theirs also was. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions. This was happening in the last days, man. You're going to have persecutions and afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch and Iconium and Lystria, which persecutions I endured. So Paul, he finished the race, man. You got certain men, they're in the race right now, but they're not going to finish it. And you may see certain brothers you may watch on the internet that are teachers. They may not finish the race. Lord willing, everybody watching this, and we finish the race, man. Finishing the race takes endurance. It takes a mind to stretch forth to the mark with nothing else on, man. You have certain things called blinders on horses, and they put the blinders on the horse so the horse doesn't get distracted. So the horse doesn't look over here and look at this horse and looks at the carrot in the bushes and looks at this shiny ribbon and get distraction and run off course, man. And they even have that with greyhounds. They have that little rabbit or whatever that is on the track to keep them focused so that they can run and finish the race. Because if their mind gets taken off that track and they start to allure to God knows what, they're not going to finish. They're going to hop right back off track. It says this, I endured, but out of them the Lord delivered me. Yeah, and all that would live godly in Yahushua shall suffer persecution. So that's what's coming up, man. You may ask yourself, what's the next big thing? We already dealing with somewhat, not on a major level, but somewhat on a lower level, the famine of the word right now, man. They cutting down brothers' YouTube channels. They're taking Bibles They're banning them in certain countries, right? All hell was breaking loose. Hey, a brother was telling me the other day, there's this version of the Bible, I believe the Cambridge. I don't know what set of the Cambridge or how, but they stopped making that thing, man. He said it used to be 100 or something, jumped to 200 or something. Now you can't even find it on the market. So they're going to slowly start phasing out these Bibles. They're going to start abandoning them. And then that's going to inch toward all hell breaking loose and martial law and the persecution of the saints. See, these are the things that brothers have to be mindful of. That little demon that you're battling, brother, that's nothing. You got to overcome that thing before it's too late. Stop letting this little demon stop you and take your crown before you even enter into troublous times, man. If you're battling something so small, think when you're actually in the arena or you're being brought forth as number 905 to be beheaded in front of the whole arena, in front of all of the Israelites, in front of your family, or be tortured in a camp. You understand, in front of your wife as they beat her and tell her to deny you. You understand, and deny the Most High. These are the things our mind has to be prepared for. Right, let me get this last precept. Let me go to the book, right? Jeremiah chapter 26. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 26, right? And I'm going to start at verse 12. And it reads, it says, well, I'm going to start at 11. It says, then spake the priests and the prophets unto the princes and to all the people, saying, this man is worthy to die, for he hath prophesied it against this city. So what was Jeremiah's charge if they were trying to kill him? That he prophesied it against the city. Brother, aren't that what we do right now, man? Don't we go to each city, each town, each providence, each isle? You understand, and do the same thing Jeremiah is being charged for, man? What did Jeremiah do? What iniquity was in his hand? What did he do against the so-called masses and the so-called city, man? He didn't do a damn thing but teach the words of the Lord. But nobody wants to hear that. The so-called white man is not going to want to hear that in the last days. He'll let you so-called speak the truth on a small level. You got your little 200 followers, or you got your little your grandmother follow you, your uncle, and all the little children you went to school with, man. And then that's okay. Okay, I'll let him run his mouth. When it starts to get on a main fold level where you have a microphone, where there's thousands of people, even millions of people, it's all in what is it called? ESUPN, whatever it's called. I don't even watch sports no more. What is it called?
ESPN.
There you go, man. Hey, there you go. I don't even in that thing no more, man. I'm in world news. But like the brother said, man, it's all over the world, man. And if you're not dived and tuned into this thing, and you're going to get lost, man. So it says, then spake Jeremiah unto all the princes and to all the people, saying, the Lord sent me to prophesy against this house and against this city and all the words that ye have heard, man. So Jeremiah didn't say, well, I don't know, man. You caught me. You caught me red-handed. I'm going to give up. You know what? I'm going to deny. I'm going to leave. I'm going to transgress. I'm going to bow. He didn't say none of those things. He said, look, the Most High commanded me to come out here, man. And that's what you're going to have to say in that day with boldness and deny the pleasures of sin. Because the same thing that happened in 2 Kings, the 7th chapter, those men had a conscious mind to go to the heathen to worship him during the famine. Because the famine was so sore in the city that those men said, you know what, we're going to die out here. Let's just go join ourselves with the heathens. You read about that in 2 Kings chapter 7 and verse 4 all the way down. We're not joining ourselves to the heathen. In 2 Maccabees, the 5th chapter, verse 20, 25 all the way down to 27, hey, what happened, man? Judas Maccabeus and them went into the wilderness to feed on herbs continually, lest they should be defiled with the heathen, as it is written, man, I'm paraphrasing. So our forefathers' mind was to escape mentally and physically this place, man. When I say physically, that means not bow down to the arena and cesspool of the white man's philosophies and doctrines. It says this, then spake Jeremiah, right, unto all the princes and unto all the people, saying, the Lord sent me to prophesy against this house and against all, so like in this city, all the words that ye have heard. Therefore now amend your ways, your doings, and obey the voice of the Lord your God, and the Lord will repent him of the evil that he had pronounced against you. And Jeremiah had to be bold in the spirit to say something like this, man. This isn't 4 people with a bat in his hand and they're backing him in the corner and in the alley. These are all of the princes, all of the priests, and all of the country banding up against Jeremiah, man. What if 1,000 people started to rush you or circle you? What if you got grabbed up? You understand? And you got the so-called white man's military, and they got their flashlights against you, and they're surrounding you. You know how scary that could be, man? If your mind isn't right. A lot of people gonna have the spirit of fear in that day, man. And God forbid that that's resting on any one of us watching this, because it's not bodily might and push-ups and money that makes you strong. It's your fear to the Most High. It's your strength that you have laid up through faith and your understanding that you're willingly ready to die for this truth, man. Because that's what it's going to boil down to. It's not going to boil down to anything else. Reading on. It says, as for me, behold, I am in your hand. Do with me as seemeth good, and meet unto you. Meaning he said, I don't care. I'm ready to die. Whatever you want to do to me, if you want to put me back in the stocks like you did in Jeremiah 20:1, you want to behead me, you want to beat me, whatever you want to do to me, I am in your hands. It is what it is. And like Yahushua said, man, you have no power at all if my Father have not given thee from heaven, man. Right? Do what you want to do. Our forefathers were ready for the fire. They were ready for the furnace. They were understanding that this was a hurdle that they had to go over to receive the crown and finish the race. And these are things that we have to understand that are ahead of us, approaching us very fast. And we have to be watching and prepared. You got it.
That's a mighty account. You know, a lot of jakes, they'll fold in that day and say, "Hi, just kidding." You know, they'll play a lot of they'll play a coward in that day. You know, here's another account similar to that. This is Amos chapter 7, verse 14. It's like verse 12. Also Amaziah said unto Amos, O thou seer, flee. It's like you go, flee thee away into the land of Judah, and there eat bread and prophesy there. But prophesy not again anymore at Bethel, for it is the king's chapel, and it is the king's court. Then, and you know, that's Amaziah kind of threatened him. Hey, leave. You know where we at? Do you know where we at, Amos? This is the king's court. Verse 14. Then, and this is Amos talking to the king. It's not just lowly a peasant. It isn't just some regular officer. This is the king. You know? And it says this. Then answered Amos and said, real quick, let me bring this out in second Esdras. Might be first Esdras 4. I don't think Israel understands how much power the king has. This is first Esdras chapter. Well, you may know where I want. 4 and 5. It says this. I'll start at verse 1 and jump down. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king. So it's a lot of strength in being a king. And it lists all their attributes and what they have power to do. Verse 5. They slay and are slain and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king as well as spoil as things else. Right? Likewise, for those that are no soldiers and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry, when they have reaped again that which they had sown, they bring it to the king. And it says this, I'm going to jump down, verse 7. And yet he is but one man. If he command to kill, they kill. If he command to spare, they spare. So this is who he's talking to. Just keep that in mind. You got to understand everything when you read the scriptures through the Spirit, right? You got to really paint the picture and put yourself in his shoes. So again, verse 12, also Amaziah said unto Amos, O thou seer, go flee away into the land of Judah, and there eat bread and prophesy there. But prophesy not again anymore at Bethel, for it is the king's chapel, and it is the king's court. Then answered Amos and said to Amaziah, I was no prophet, neither was I a prophet's son, but I was an herdman and a gatherer of sycamore fruit. And the Lord took me as I followed the flock, and the Lord said unto me, Go prophesy unto my people Israel. Now therefore, hear thou the words of the Lord. And I'm sure you didn't whisper it. Hey, hear the words of the Lord. Hey, hear the words of the word, Amaziah. Now therefore hear the word of the Lord. Thou sayest, prophesy not against Israel, and drop not thy word against the house of Isaac. Therefore, thus said the Lord, thy wife. Not he went in on him, you know. He said, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city. Imagine telling the king that. Imagine telling your boss that. You're already scared to talk to your boss, Jake. How do I ask for overtime? I mean, how do I ask for a vacation? You're already scared to talk to your boss. You're already shaking in your boots when you talk to the police. Hey, I didn't do nothing wrong, police, Mr. Policeman. You're already scared to talk to these minor people, and how much more the king, you know? Not that, you should be, but my point is this: you got to get out that weak state of mind and put off the weak nature, right? And be strong and bold as our forefathers. Therefore, thus said the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth on his hand. Imagine telling the king, you go and die, and your wife is a harlot. You know, that's the modern day way of saying your wife's a slut, Hey, any man's not going to take that light. Nobody's going to take that lightly, you know. But that's just one account on how you have to be bold, and thus said the Lord. So it is what it is. This is another account. This is First Timothy chapter 1, verse 18. This charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on thee, that thou by them mightest war a good warfare. Because again, all of this is a warfare. This is all spiritual war. Esau doesn't always have to pull out his gun, his Glock, his army to wage war on you. He does it through psychology, right? Financial war. There's many different tactics and ways to prevail in war. So Esau is going to use everything in his artillery to make sure you fall. So you have to fight that good war. It's like you might as war a good warfare, holding faith in a good conscience, which some having put away concerning faith have made shipwreck. Some people put away their faith, and they're a shipwreck. And I'm gonna show you a video of shipwreck. You gotta get the visual for Jake. This is your mind. This is your spirit, all because you couldn't fight the good fight and you got tempted by something little, or you fell short because of your afflictions. I had a bad day at work. I think I'll end it all. My girlfriend's talking to me kind of crazy. I don't want to read no more. She hurt my feelings. My dog peed and pissed in my house. There goes my day. You can't let the little things burden you and destroy you. Here's a quick video. Hold on, it's about to show. That shipwreck, it crashed into the pillar, not being focused. Look what happened to the ship. And it tipped over. I believe they call it capsizing. And that's your spirit. That's your spirit in your mind when you don't have a good conscious, and have that fear in the Lord. And when you sell out, especially, because your faith is out the window. So again, holding faith in a good conscience, which some having put away concerning faith, that made shipwreck, of whom is Hymenaeus and Alexander, whom I have delivered unto Satan, that they may learn not to blaspheme. Add one more. Where was it? Oh, here we go. Pulled it up. This is Luke 7:50. Like I said in scripture, faith and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, Luke's paraphrasing. This is Luke 7:50. And he said unto the woman, thy faith hath saved thee. Go in peace. That's not to say you don't need works anymore, but you have to have that faith as well. You have to believe. You got to believe your head's going to get chopped off and severed for the Lord and for the kingdom. You have to believe you're doing it for the Lord. When they beat you up in that prison cell and they cast you out your house, take away your family, you have to believe that it's all for the Lord. You really have to believe it. Not just small belief. Yeah, I believe I'm gonna pass this test. I have faith I'm gonna get home soon. No, this requires a large amount of faith. That's why the Lord, in this case said, hey, thy faith have saved thee. But with that I yield.
And all praise to you. How about Shema Mashiach Kumalak Abashah? Shalom, King. Shalom.
Shalom, King.
Did brothers pull Hebrews the 11th chapter?
Come.
Would you start 11 and 24?
Come.
But I want to get this.
Further. Come, you got it.
No, go ahead. I want to make sure I'm not pulling the same precept.
I was gonna pull it again through the Spirit, but you got it.
No, I'm gonna get this precept. So this to add what the brother said about having faith, because as you see, I'm sure brothers may have addressed it. If not, I'll address it or address it again. You see what the Most High is doing when it comes to men who know that they're Israel and men who have a knowledge of the truth. A lot of brothers' integrity are going to get put to the test in these days, man. And if you really believe in this thing, there's only one way to show that you believe, and that's going through the fire. The Lord said, judge no man before the time, for the trial of every man is in his reason, and paraphrasing. So simply because you know that you're an Israelite and you say that you believe, that's going to get put to the test. How much do you believe when they take away all of your money? How much do you believe when your life is on the line, when you're a pilgrim on earth? It's easy to believe when things go well for you. How much do you believe when you're dealing with adversity? How much do you believe when your woman leaves you? How much do you believe when you're in a FEMA camp, like the brother was saying? This thing it's not supposed to be easy. I wanted to get 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 1. And that's why it's a very beautiful thing to pray for faith. You understand? And when you're dealing with adversity and you dealing with affliction, to have these precepts in your mind, right? This 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and 2. And that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men. For all men have not faith. See that? The Apostle Paul said all men have not faith, man. All men may have some fringes on, though, that know that they're Israel. But all men may say Kwam Yashala. All men may have a staff and a shofar. All men may know how to drink that wine. But the scriptures say all men have not faith, man. Every brother really doesn't believe in this thing. Because like when Yaradan was said, from what the little that I caught, when affliction or persecution comes, you start fleeing, man. The Lord said, make not haste in time of trouble. And woe unto him that goeth 2 ways, paraphrasing Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter, 10 on down. So you have to believe in this thing in matters of adversity and in matters of prosperity. And I'm not sure, did y'all mention Kyrie Irving, his situation?
Briefly, but not really. You could touch on it.
Yeah, this brother, he said he's about to retire, allegedly. He said he's about to retire. They gave him 6 things to do in order to play back for the Brooklyn Nets. Now I could find it, but one of them was he had to meet with a league of Amalekites. He had to pay $500,000 to an Amalekite charity, among other things, man. I'll find it's no big deal, but that's what they told him to do. Basically, this is a public whipping, and if he does those, and it's 6 things for a reason. They made him do 6 things. Now, which I don't believe he's going to do, I could be wrong, I'm just a mortal man, right? But if he did those 6 things, then guess what, man? All men have not faith. He has denied the integrity of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now, if you really believe, hey, to hell with the 500,000 and the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA, man. That's what the scriptures say, for all men have not faith, but the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you. and keep you from evil. And we have confidence in the Lord touching you. And that's something that brothers should also add, right? You can believe, but now you have to be confident. And we're not talking about walking confident in a plain way. We're speaking about having the absolute highest degree of faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Confidence that the Most High is going to deliver you from adversity. Confidence that the Most High is going to deliver you from persecution. You have to have confidence in this thing. Don't it say in 2 Maccabees 15, 8 on down, that Maccabeus had ever sure confidence that the Lord was with him? It said ever sure confidence. Meaning you couldn't tell him nothing. You know? And these are spirits that we're going to have to obtain and pray for in these last days, man. You're going to need faith in adversity. That's going to be pushing you through stress, through the damn flesh, through your mind telling you 7 things that believe, I believe, I believe. You know, you got to believe that Yahushua can calm the rain and the storm and the wind, man, for you. You have to remember these precepts and believe in that, right? And have not only believe, you have to be confident. Confidence is the highest level of belief. Right, let me read that part again. 2 Thessalonians 3 and 4. And we have confidence in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, touching you. They gave both do and will do the things which we command you. So they had absolute confidence that these men, the brother just sent it to me. Right, so like, let me read this real quick before I pass it. So this what Kyrie Irving must do. Issue an apology for posting the link to the movie, right? They want this man to apologize 10 times, twice told. Condemn the harmful and false content and make clear that he does not have anti-Amalekite beliefs. That's number 1. Number 2, complete the anti-hate causes that Irving and the Nets and the ADL agreed upon, including a $500,000 donation towards Amalekite organizations to eradicate hate and intolerance. Then he has to complete sensitivity training. What does that mean? What does that entail? What are the details of sensitivity training? They probably show Amalekites in World War II. How does this make you feel? And they all in there hoping he say what they want to hear. Anne Frank, Elie Wiesel, you know, Rosenthal's and Greenberg's. And they'll play all of them clips. How does this make you feel, Kyrie? Right? Do you regret saying? And then he has to say what they want to hear, man. And this is a filthy, nasty kingdom. Let me read on. Complete anti-Semitic, anti-hate training designed by the Nets. Meet with representatives of the Anti-Defamation League, as well as the Amalekite community leaders in Brooklyn. Boy, after completing 1 through 5, so if you get through level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, meet with owner Joe Tsai and lead franchise officials, meaning other Amalekites, and demonstrate the lessons learned. What does that mean, man? He has to demonstrate what he has learned. Leave that up to your imagination, right? Demonstrate the lessons learned and that the gravity of the harm caused in the situation is understood, and provide assurance. He has to provide assurance, right? And this type of behavior will not be repeated. So he has to beg. Basically how brother's been saying it, and it's dead on. It's just buck breaking. If you don't know what buck breaking is, look it up. They're buck breaking and whipping Kyrie Irving like when you see in Roots, hoping that he denounces and devours the word of God, man. And if he does it, it's a psychological tactic to try to get everybody else not to do it. What's that? Never, I can't see that. Salakia King, it's a little glare. It might just be on my end.
That's him getting whipped. I gotta focus it.
Yep. Let me get one more quick precept before I pass it. All right, let me get the classic in Romans the 14th chapter. Right, Romans chapter 14.
Salaki King. I was about to bring it up. Could brother see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right,
Gone.
you got it.
All right, there you have it. You see that? You see that? And guess who they're using? You know, in the plantation days, they would use Jake to whip you. So they're using Shaq, Charles Barkley, LeBron James.
Right.
They're essentially using other coons to whip them, man. That's why the brothers are going into this topic, the pleasures of sin for a season. Right? Because guess what, man? This stuff ain't going to last forever. Money, wealth, riches, fame, right? If you don't believe in the Most High, if you're not willing to lose it all, hey, guess what, man? It's over. Let me get this quick precepts lock and I'm going to pass it. Right? This ain't Matthew chapter 9. Did the brother put Matthew 19?
Nah.
All right, this ain't, I'm going to get straight to the point. Matthew chapter 19 and verse 20. And the young man said unto him, all these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? Because he knew he was an Israelite. Right? He didn't have to be taught that he was Israel. He didn't have to be taught, okay, give me Leviticus 11 and 7. Give me Leviticus 19. Give me Exodus 20. He said, I've been keeping this from my youth up. I keep the commandments. I have a beard. I keep the Sabbath. I was at Passover. What am I lacking to get the kingdom of heaven? Yahweh Shai said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come and follow me. So he said, if you want to be perfect, come and follow me. Right? It reads, but when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful. Why? For he had great possessions. He had great possessions. He probably had cattle, oxen, she asses, houses, sons, daughters, talents of gold. He went away sorrowful. He kept his monetary, worldly possessions because he kept the commandments, but he didn't believe. He wasn't confident. He wasn't confident in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So that goes to show you with your beard in your face and your fringes on and your staff in your hand and your mighty garment, when you deal with adversity and when it's time to lose it all, are you willing to lose it all? Or are you going to fold like this man folded? But brothers got it.
Come. Let me bring this out in the book of Job. It's the book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 24. And like we've been going into all night, it really boils down to, are you going to serve the spiritual demon Satan in this world, or are you going to serve the Most High God? It's the book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 24. If I had made gold my hope, or have said to find gold, thou art my confidence, man. And a lot of people may find gold their confidence because they feel better when they have the materialistic things on. They feel better when they have a Gucci and Fendi and worldly things and gold watches and silver and all of these things and Bugattis and so-called Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all ships and yachts and folly, man. They make gold their hope, man. And they hoping to this. Because, I mean, ever since you was a kid, a lot of Jake, what do? They aspire to be just like Allen Iverson. They aspire to be just like Michael Jordan. And they make gold their hope. You know, when I was watching a video about training on the Mind of a Champion with so-called Mayweather, he said what got him boxing was the money. He said he would look at certain boxers and they would pull up in their Mercedes Benzes and they would have their money. And he said, that's what I wanted. And he went after that. So these men on a physical level, man, they make gold their hope, man. It says, if I rejoice because my wealth was great and because mine hand have gotten much. And a lot of people rejoice when their hand has gotten a lot of much, man. When they have won the lottery, when they've gotten carnal things, they rejoice in it. And that's what makes their heart feel good. I thought the Lord said you're supposed to leap like a lamb and joy for him in the book of Wisdom of Solomon 19 and 9, man. All the way down. I thought the Most High wants you to have pleasure in serving him. Have pleasure in doing the commandments. Have pleasure in teaching. And do it with a willing mind. Like it says in Leviticus 1 and 3. You have to willingly offer up that sacrifice. You can't be pushing that lamb and somebody's dragging your feet and somebody's pushing you to do these things, man. But people love to go to concerts. They love to go to these things and these clubs and these venues, and it makes their night, man. It's literally a thing in the weekend. They say, what you getting into this weekend? Like it's this big thing. It's this lust about what you're going to do when the sun goes down, man. And that's spiritual. Because if you're not literally putting your spirit to serving the Lord and joyful to do the work of the Lord, there's going to be a left hand to that, man. You're going to have joy to do God knows what when the sun goes down. It says this: if I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because my hand have gotten much, if I beheld the sun when it shined, and the moon when it walketh in brightness, and my heart had been secretly enticed. So the Most High isn't just saying that you come out and you bow down to Esau. Just because you don't come out and physically bow down to Esau and his philosophies, don't mean you're not doing it in the back of your mind, man. And the Lord said, if you even look at another man's wife, what is that? It's adultery. So if you're sitting up there in the back of your mind, you're staring at her, you're gazing, you're having dreams, you can't leave her alone in your mind, and you're lusting behind closed doors and nobody knows, hey, the Lord will charge you with adultery because your mind is already defiling that woman, man. The same with the society. You can't secretly smell weed and secretly see women and secretly have all of these concerts and venues and rappers and money and gold flash right before you, and your mind sits there and wonders, dang, what if I never came into this truth? I could have fulfilled my lust being a rapper, a singer. You know, maybe I could have went to that school for architectural work, and I could have drove planes, and I could have been a scientist, or I could have did God knows what, man. Because your heart starts to secretly entice and lust after these things, man. It says this: and my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand. This is, so like this also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the God that is above, man. So you deny the Most High when your mind starts to get enticed, man. What do you do when your spirit starts to get in? You got to examine yourself. You have to have your eyes to be single. You have to wonder and understand, why the hell was I even looking over there to begin with? If you know there's nothing but violence on M Street and transactions and lust on M Street, and you secretly want to go down there because it's a shortcut on your way home, well, brother, when you fall down into that pit, and the Lord said a whore is a deep ditch. So if you put yourself in that situation, whether you're going to be defiled or you're going to be overcome by the spiritual demon Satan, that's why we must walk lightly and understand how much of a spiritual warfare we're really under in the last days. You got witches, warlocks, casting spells on brothers, or trying to rather. You got the social media trying to defame and make it seem like it's a lie. You got your own so-called nation of people having an evil eye to you. You got your own family and things that you go through on an everyday basis. If you're not strong in this thing, you're going to fall. And you're going to bow down to all of the pleasures of things to make you feel good. Because what do people do when they lose their job and they're not in the spirit? They run to that bottle, and they run to that woman, and they run to that cigarette, man, instead of running to the Lord. Brothers, God.
Come. Or they'll run to whatever they need to satisfy their current situation, right? And that could be anything. They start running for more jobs. On the Sabbath, they start lowering and debasing themselves for coins. You bring yourself down to $1, right? You bring your bottom down to $1, that's off.
Bottom dolly.
Yeah, now you the bottom dollar. Literally. Brought your bottom down to the dollar. This 2 Timothy 2:28. Flee also from youthful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Hey, that's what you got to do to the spirit, man.
Hey, man, yeah, you know, when it's all said and done, there's only two types of men in this thing, right? You got the elect, then you got people that's not going to make it, man. And the elect are going to be unmovable. That's why the scriptures say in 1 Corinthians, let me get that real quick, chapter 15, about being unmovable, right? The men of the Lord, and Lord willing, we're part of that number. We don't know, but Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on us, and we're part of that number. The Lord said in 1 Corinthians 15:58, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, because you're walking on a plain path. You're walking on a plain path, a straight and narrow gate. The Lord said in 2 Ezra chapter 7 and 7 on down, or 6 on down, as if there were fire on the right hand side and on the left of deep water, and one only path between them both, so small, but that one man can go there and at once, paraphrasing. So you have that one path you have to walk on, and you can't be moved. You can't be moved. You can't let people in a crowd entice you, right? You can't let your people out of the world try to pull you back. I was watching this quick clip. I can't remember who the athlete was. I think it was Gilbert Arenas. He said when he played in the NBA, he left his phone at the spot. He said he didn't want his father calling him. He said his father, he said he sent his father's tickets. His dad, trying to get out. Dad, son, I don't know how to get in the game. He said it's too late. You got to deal with it. I leave my phone at home. I get no distractions, right? My woman, you know what I'm saying? He said he don't even want to hear about his woman, man. Even if his woman committed adultery, he said he don't want to know. He's focused. He's dialed in. He'll find that stuff out after the game, man. He left his phone at home. He's unmovable. Then you got guys on the side, they texting, eating popcorn. You're doing little dances. That guy, he's dialed in, man. You watch them old Kobe things, clips, he's sitting there with the Kobe, they call it the Kobe stare or the Mamba stare. People are trying to talk. There's a clip of Chris Rock trying to talk to Kobe Bryant on the bench, and he's not paying him no mind, man.
You're straight ignoring him.
Yeah, straight ignoring him. And it's not as if Chris Rock isn't loud enough. He's a loud guy, man. And it's not as if Chris Rock isn't funny because he's all right, you know. But Kobe is so focused. He's so dialed in. He's so unmovable. And that clip, he can't even hear it. He's in another zone, you know. And that's the spirit brothers got to be. You got to be in another zone. Where even people calling you in the world, text, it just doesn't even affect you, man. Trying to get you to sell out, lose your so-called job. A quick personal story. I had a so-called job call me today, man. Now the job was originally Monday through Friday. Now they said, well, we got Tuesday through Saturday. We switched it on you, right? Tuesday through Saturday, and we paying a lot, right? You think you could do it, right? No, we're not doing it, man. How do you shift it? What type of shift is Tuesday through Saturday? You know, and Satan come allegedly right on time. He knows how to get you, man. And if you get weak, you'll fall for that, man. Well, Saturday, I think, because the Sabbath, is it really the lunar Sabbath? Then you start looking at the lunar Sabbath, right? Show me Friday, sundown, and Saturday, sundown in the Bible. Send that to your group chat with all of the brothers. Show me Friday, sundown, and Saturday, sundown in the Bible, right? Then you start sowing discord. I don't know. I really don't see it. So you could, and you brothers may perceive that you're just talking about doctrine, but you really want to fulfill your lust. You really just want to freak off. They said, well, just come to camp, brother. Saturday, we'll talk about, no, I got to go to work. Right? It's payday. That's off. Right? The Lord said, let me finish that verse. Unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. That's why Second Ezra, the second chapter, let me get that real quick. Ezra said this. Second Ezra chapter 2. Brothers have to be unmovable, right? Don't let your children move you. You have read and damn all day, and your woman moved. She literally picked you up by the hand, took you in a room, turned on Netflix, and sat you down, and you just walk in motion. You just got moved, brother. You're supposed to go on a fast. They ordered the wrong pizza to your house by accident. You take it and start eating. Oh, it's free, right? Oh, that's strange. How did I get a free pizza? You're just being tossed to and fro. People could just pick you up and just take you anywhere, man. You hear something lewd on the radio, you just turn it up. What's that? What was that? You just start getting into it, man. You're running the secondhand smoke, right? You're following the weed trail. Like a creep, man. Let me get Second Ezra chapter 2. You have to be unmovable in this thing.
So
right?
I can get this quick thing real fast. I just want to say something. Hey, man, just like the brother bringing out, I was at work one time and I was fasting, and this brother just kept trying to buy me food all day, man. It was spiritual. He was in the truck. He said, "You want some breakfast?" I said, Nah, I'm good. He said, "You sure?" I said, "Nah, I'm good." He kept stopping at gas stations, stopping at food markets. Oh, hell was breaking. When did somebody want to buy you damn food, man?
Right.
He was lusting to buy me food. Lunchtime come around, yeah, I see you probably don't got it. You be real with me, I got you. I said, no, brother, no. Right, but you got it, Ken.
Yeah, man. How many times he try to buy you food, man? Probably not that many, man.
No.
See, that's how Satan be, man. He try to get you. Try to get you. Hey, a brother told me, he said, he was dealing with weed in the world or whatever the case may be. And then the so-called weed man just showed up with a big open bag. He said, take it. It's on me. He said, it's on me. He just opened up a bag. He said, look, how much do I owe you? How much? He said, look, it's on me. And he said, just stick your hand in there. So the dude reaches his hand in there, just take a handful, man. You know, that's how Satan gets you. Just knocks on your door. It's on me. No call, no text. Found your address. Just Satan, man. And that's why you have to have some discernment in this thing. This second Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 48. Salakia, 47. So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. When something is stiff, it can't be moved. A breeze, a wind, a hurricane, nobody can alter the position of an object that's stiff. Ezra began to commend these men. For them being stiff, they received immortality and crowns of life and immortal clothing, man, and palms in their hand, and they were crowned by Yahushua. You have to ask yourself, are you standing stiffly for the name of the Lord? You may be standing stiffly now, but remember, you have more adversity coming, more persecution coming. Like we said before, what you see happening with these celebrities and these athletes is a foreshadowing of what's to come to the children of Israel. That's just on a minor level, but that shows you the psyche of the so-called white man and the tactics and the devices that he puts out there when you stand up for the Most High. He tries to get you to fold. Try to get you to fold. That's Satan. And you have to be stiff. Like I said, I think they said Kyrie Irving's going to retire, man. I hope he do retire. Right? And just walk away from that thing, man. You got a lot of people Floyd Mayweather actually stood up and said some things, man. Ed Reed called him out. He used to play football back in the day. He said, look, they just worried about the check. You know? So you got some men standing up, some men not really standing up, but you can see this is prophecy being fulfilled. The Lord said in Genesis 49 about Judah, who shall rouse him up. And Judah's being roused up in the last days. And when you're being roused up, you got to stay up and stand stiff. Don't let, again, your woman, your job, because eventually, one more quick point, brother's going to lose their job, right? You say, not me. I have 10 years. Brother, the days are coming. You're going to be a pilgrim on earth. They're going to start cracking down. Them fringes you got on, why you not working on the Sabbath? They may gave you off on the Sabbath. They found out you Israel. Now you got to work the Sabbath or you out. Take your fringes off or you out. Cut your beard down or you're out. It's going to become a little bit more easy to identify who the Hebrew Israelites are. Yeah, you were wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You were blending in. Like brother say, Clark Kent mode. You know? But now you're going to start sticking out. That's that. He looked like the guy that Kyrie Irving. That's that. Because Edomites are watching that Hebrews to Negroes too. They're watching it. And they're looking and that's that guy. Well, he must be one of them. Then they start asking you questions. They pull you to HR. You have to have some talks, man. And you have to stand stiffly for the name of the Lord. But brothers got it.
I want to say quickly, both those things happened to me at work. One day I was fasting. He kept saying, I have something for you. And in fact, he actually bought something, just gave it to me. Just said it right there. I'm not eating it. He said, well, why aren't you eating? I said, I'm not hungry. You know? And then recently, as of like last week, I think they were saying literally, like what you said, Tuesday to Saturday. You know, you get more money, you know, just work the Tuesday to Saturday. That's when the majority of our other people work. It'd be a lot easier on everybody. I said, like,
right.
All right, fine. we have you do Tuesday to Friday. I said, why didn't you say that the first time? I said, well, we got to work things around. I'm sorry. I said, wow.
Wow.
So, hey, you got to stand you got to stand strong for the Lord, and the Lord got you.
Right.
First, you got to flee that youthful lust. All right. And lust isn't always, them sights, Lust can be lust, not the money, gold,
Right.
woman, of course. Your old passions. I wanted to be a sketch artist. You wanted to be a vlogger. You wanted to play games, Call of Duty all night. What do they call it when you play games and you get money? I forgot. Some Jake wanted to do that.
Yep.
Hey, this is 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee also youthful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. And you have to call upon the Lord with a pure, sincere heart, because if you don't, the Lord's not going to hear you.
Right.
Could you imagine telling your woman, I love you, and it's not sincere, I love you? You don't even say the whole word, love you. She going to feel some type of way about it. You have to love the Lord loudly, sincerely. I love the Lord. And of course, show it through your actions. All right, let me bring this out because you can't trust in Esau's economy and his system. That's Isaiah 30. I'll get it real quick.
Bring it out.
This Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. And it reads, woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that take cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that they walk down into Egypt. It's like that they walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked of my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. You trusting in Big Daddy America. That's the man that's going to give you your money, your comfort, and your security. America. He pays me. I get health insurance. I get dental. He gave me a white picket fence and a lawn. I get to cut every Friday and Saturday. Well, that's this. If you trust in America, you're going to fall like Egypt. You trust in America, you're going to fall like Rome because they're the same system all over again, and no civilization lasts forever. You got a point?
Yeah, I don't want to make the point, man. That just goes into these brothers and these sisters out there in DC that be begging for reparations, man. And this place is going down. It's spiraling out of control, and you're out there begging for reparations, literally going to Egypt. And not just, what does it say in Isaiah 19? North and Zoan, the chief cities of Egypt, and expecting someone cut the check, man. The brother's got it. It's a quick point.
Yeah, I said earlier, if you asking a so-called white man for money that's already, it's the dollar bill is it's imaginary. You asking a white man for an imaginary money with no value that could fall and drop any day of the week. Imagine that. You say, if you give us imaginary dollars to cover the blood, rape, rob, and murder of my ancestors, then we'll be okay. Then we won't bring up racism in America. Because that kind of means that too. You can't bring up no racism. You can't bring up nothing.
Yep.
It's all paid by green dollars that you exalt. And, pre-adventure, if Esau wanted to, they could give you some reparations and then make the dollar drop. Then what are you going to do? Then you blow all your money, Lord knows what, and then he make the dollar go back up again as if he had no reparations. Hey, Esau can make that happen if he wanted to. Then what are you going to do then, Jake? So this is Sirach 31:1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. That man, I think his name was Tariq. He stayed up all night planning a thing. He got his woman, at night just rubbing his shoulder. Get some rest, baby. He said, I got to do it. I got to get reparations. He got the coffee right there, the Keurig, just hot as hell, just drinking the coffee. Well, if I do this and I say that, maybe we can push forward and bring this to Congress. He's watching for riches. He's watching for money, right? Real quick, let me put this on the charger. He's watching for riches, man, and those riches won't save him. Let me carry on. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. Watching care, watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sore disease breaketh sleep. The rich hath great labor in gathering riches together, and when he resteth, he is filled with his delicates. The poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy. And it says this: he that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. So you following after corruption. And a dollar, along with the American flag, they have one thing in common. They're both bloody. Why would I want blood money? That money they have, it was built up off your ancestors. I don't want that blood money. I don't want it. And if you want it, I got some words for you. And one more Salakia. Verse 6. Gold hath been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it. These men are sacrificing their time. People called out for work. You had Israel dress up like this guy. And it wasn't expedient. He didn't have to do this. This does nothing for the whole event. It's not funny. It's actually a shame. I don't know if brother's seen it. I'm sure you did. He was there. Brother just called out of work, bought the. This is brothers. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, bear with me. You don't want to show. It's kind of showing. That's what Israel dressed up as a slave. You don't have to do that. You did not have to do that. You said what?
I said with yokes of iron upon their neck.
He came with a yoke of iron upon his neck.
Hey, real quick, they was real yokes. They was 50 pounds. Over 50 pounds.
It was real.
They were real yokes, 50 pounds. They say that brother does that. He just goes across the country and he does that. That's his thing.
Being a slave
is a lot. I'm not gonna say that's his lot, but that's what's going on right now. But Lord willing, that brother come out.
What did he say why he did that?
Yeah, just begging for reparations.
So he's watching again. He's watching for riches. He be doing anything. You could be doing charity, praying, fasting. I'm gonna put a heavy yoke of iron upon my neck. Esau didn't have to do damn thing. You did the job for him. He bought that, or he fabricated it himself, put it on. His family sees it. That's a shame.
In a bloody gown.
You said what?
In a bloody gown.
In a bloody gown. He put lotion on his face first. He got his hair right, and he put it on and just started walking.
There's a prophet that did that in the scriptures. So like I think Hananiel and Jeremiah did that, man. He put a yoke, or he broke the yoke off of Jeremiah's neck, man. Mm-hmm. You got men that do that stuff in the scriptures.
Yeah. But, he's doing it for money. I want to be seen. So one last one. Oh man, that's somebody's father probably. Could you imagine your father just walking around like that? It's Sirach 31. 31:7. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith. Hey, instead of making your body a living sacrifice for the Lord, you did it for money. And these events, you don't just make it in one day. This is months of planning in advance. You have a speech prepared. You have a counsel. You get ideas. You get funding. All for money. And they're worshiping money. They're going to say, I don't worship money. I believe in God. No, you're worshiping money. Pervert.
Come on. Let me bring this up. All right. in the book of Matthew, right? Chapter 26 and verse number 14. Because a lot of people don't understand how deep money is and what it'll do to you, man. Now you got your own so-called uncle robbed you for money. Your own brother. You understand? They got a song called Backstabbers, man, by the OJs. People will rob their own brother. So money, it's a spirit on money, man. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and 14. It says, then one of the 12. And it just wasn't anybody. You know, maybe if you got robbed by a Joe Blow down the street, or if you got robbed by your crooked second cousin. But this is the 12, man. These men were on fire. And these are the men that walked with Yahushua. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priest and said unto him, what will ye give me? What type of spirit is that, man? What can I get for betrayal? And you may ask yourself that in the last days, man. Well, I got 4 kids. My rent is due. Well, what will you give me if I took the jab? What's the outcome? What can I become of this? You may ask yourself, well, if I just compensated, Saturday, I mean, what can I get out of the deal, man? You may move in that spirit where you may want the pleasure of that money and that sin rather than maintaining your integrity and truth for the Most High, man. It says, and he said unto them, what will ye give me? And that's the type of mind where it's a negotiation, meaning you're up for grabs. Certain people, they'll take you to a negotiation thing. You may go to a job interview. They may say, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, you may start off high and work low, and you may go into negotiations and, well, I want benefits. I want days off. I don't want to work Saturdays. I want this. I want that. His spirit is just, what will you give me to portray the Son of Man? It says, and I will deliver him unto you. And they conveyed with him for 30 pieces of silver, man. And that's spiritual too, because this is nothing. Not that any amount could be worth betraying the Son of Man and our King Yahushua the righteous, but nevertheless, what you get for bowing down is always nothing. Kyrie Irving, what he has is nothing. That's not real money. That's not real riches, man. Abraham was really rich. You understand? Job was really rich. Come on, go ahead.
Quick precept. Exodus chapter 21 and 32. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. So 30 shekels of silver, for those that don't know, is the price of a slave. You got it.
Come, right? Hey, that's plain, man. So he betrayed them for what? 30 shekels of silver, man. What are you going to do with that, man? Some people bowing down for a new car. They're getting butt braked for a new job, right? They're getting butt braked to feed themselves. I mean, you gotta really ask yourself, am I really prepared to go into the wilderness? It's going to be dark. There's no flashlights. There's no tour guides. There's no signs. There's no bathrooms. There's no water to wash yourself. It's going to be uncomfortable situations to be able to live as a pilgrim on earth, man. You're not going to be able to have the Fortune 500 company job with your suit and tie to be comfortable every day like you used to be, man. And have money to frivolously spend to go on to expenses with your wife to the movies and out to dinner every Thursday, man. Because that's your night out. You're not going to be able to do these things. It says this. It says, and from that time, he sought opportunity to portray him. And when you actually take that money into society, you're going to seek the opportunity to portray the Most High. Because you're going to think, just like any nigga with money, the first thing they think is, what am I going to buy? Am I going to get, what am I going to spend my money on? The check is coming. Right, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. It burn holes in your pocket, man. You're going to seek the opportunity to betray the Most High by what carnally you weigh in this society, what you can get. And you weigh it in the balance. Will the Most High forgive me? He's a merciful God. Your mind starts playing tricks on you. You start figuring out and thinking that, like the brother said, you could blend in and be Clark Kent. Well, let me just blend in the society and wear my fringes in the house. Now, we keeping the feast days when I get home, and we turning up with the menorah and we waving it, and the fire is burning. But in public, man, I'm going to bow down and get butt break, man. You can't do that. You got to live righteously, you understand, at all times, man. In the light and out the light. Because that which is in the darkness is going to be manifest in the light, man. And let me get this quick precept of Philippians. Because this will Paul say. Paul was bold in the spirit, man. This is the book of Philippians 1 and 20. according to my earnest expectations and my hope that in nothing I shall be ashamed. What is a lot of men ashamed in, man? They're ashamed in the Most High. They're ashamed in his beloved Son in the last days. They're ashamed of speaking the truth. They're ashamed of losing a job and being homeless and broke. These are things you're ashamed of, man. And you can't be ashamed of that if that come upon you for righteousness' sake, man. It says this, my earnest expectations and my hope that in nothing I should be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Yahushua shall be manifest in my body. And what does it mean manifest in his body? Whether it be by stripes, whether it be by vocally, he's manifested, by him speaking and teaching the gospel, whether it be by back pains of him traveling through far countries and ship rides, no matter what it is, man, it got to be manifest in your body. It says, so always Yahushua should be manifest in my body, whether it be by life or by death, man. So Paul's mentality was already thinking about death. You can't come into this thing like, well, it may happen to me, it may not. No, your mind should be, look, it may happen to me. Look, I'm ready to magnify the name of the Lord, man. Whether it be by life, teaching, magnifying them, ship rides, doing the work of the Lord, evangelizing, or by death, suffering persecution, beheading, right? Getting beat, stoned, right? Whatever it may too. And too, man, in this society, like the brother was going into, like the brothers are going into throughout the lesson, they pick these pickaninnies and they put them on a pedestal and they backbreak them, man. That's nothing but slave philosophy in the Willie Lynch. They take the strongest man, and back then on a physical level, it's physically the strongest man. But now it's the most powerful is black man, or ones that are in the public light that have money, that people love. All the kids love Kyrie Irving. He's the new Allen Iverson, man. He's the new one with the handles. He's Uncle Damn Drew, man. Everybody wants to be like Kyrie Irving. Everybody wants to be like LeBron James. Everybody wants to be like these so-called black celebrities, man. In these high seats that everybody wants to aspire to be, coming into so-called elementary school, middle school, high school, all the way to college, man. So when they take these men, they know what the hell they're doing, man. They put them on a pedestal. They break them. You know what that essentially does, man? To men that aren't rooted and have the understanding of this true or false, adds them to back away from the truth and feel like it's furthermore a lie or something that isn't the truth because nobody's standing for it. If everybody in the nation right now were to stand up for the truth, all hell will break loose. It'd be probably 7 blood moons back to back, closing down certain buildings and cities and streets. It would be an uproar and martial law, man. And they would declare what? The famine of the word. No more freedom of speech. No more publicly speaking. No more of this, no more of that. Because the power of the tongue, right? And that's even in the scriptures, man. And you can have life or death by the power of the tongue.
Right.
So like the Lord said, by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. So be justified by your speech, speaking righteousness.
And I want to show the screen real quick. It should pop up on your end. But I'm going to show this real quick. You should be able to show it. You see it?
Come.
All right, you see that? These are your men that got popped, man. Just straight up and down. You got Jamie Foxx, right? You got Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop. You got Kevin Hart with a dress on. Shanae, everybody knows Shanae. You know? Who's this? Rasputia. That's Eddie Murphy. Who's this?
Brandon T. Jackson.
Oh wow. See, I didn't know that one. Wow, that must be like Big Mama 4 or something. I didn't know Brandon T. Jackson got down. I'm not surprised, but you know, who's this? That's what's his name?
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, Wesley damn Snipes, man. I didn't even know Wesley Snipes, man.
Yeah, pop.
That's supposed to be Blade. Blade 1, 2, and 3. Dressed like Nefertiti. Of course, you got these guys, man. Marlon and Shawn Wayans. You know? This is what Esau does, man. All right, let me get the book of Luke, right, real quick. Luke chapter 16 and 15. Right? Luke 16 and 15. This is what they do. Shaq had a dress on. I saw Charles Barkley kiss a man. They show him kissing the dude. Let's go to the book of Luke. I had another precept in mind, but it escaped me. Right? St. Luke chapter 16. And I'm gonna just show this a little bit longer. Right? Luke 16 and 15. It reads, and he said unto them, yea, are they which justify yourselves before men. But God knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed amongst men is abomination in the sight of the Most High. So you have men that justify themselves before men. Meaning what? They trim their ways to get man's persons in admiration because of advantage. Like I tell you in 2 Peter and Jude. People please men, they trim their ways, man. They justify themselves before men. But the Most High knoweth their hearts, man. The Most High knows what their spirit is, that they're hypocrites, covetous, liars. The Lord said that which is highly esteemed amongst men, which is what? Being a billionaire, having all of the women, fanciest cars, walk of fame in Hollywood. Everybody wants to star in Hollywood. Everybody wants a paparazzi. You got people that pay people to pretend that they're their own paparazzi. Everybody wants to be on them A-list actors, you know, the Grammys, the Oscars. People want to make it in this society. A lot of brothers in the truth, they still want to make it. Every time they hear about the end of the world, they click off the channel. Some brothers keep talking about the end of the world. God just got a new job. Let me live a little. Hey, we're not here to live a little, man. Let me just give me a little bit of pleasure. Some brothers, they secretly want a little bit of pleasure in this society. Just to be comfortable. I just want to be a little bit pleasurable. And we're looking to get out of here, man. We don't want to be comfortable here. Now, we want to be able to, you know, provide for our family and have things and ends meet and things of that nature. Of course, right? But we don't want to be comfortable and make this place our rest. Look at this. Oh, not him. Look at this. I don't even know who this is. Right? But this is what Jake does, man. This is the new big thing. They got Omar Epps in the dress. That's supposed to be Q. You know? From Juice. Kanye West. ASAP Rocky. Of course, I mean, look at this. You know? But this is the world we live in. I'm done with it. You can take it on.
And they got damn Vin Raines, man. He's supposed to be the gangster in all the movies. He's supposed to be the thug in all the movies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull this up real quick.
Going off, man.
Was that a Holiday Heart? Right? They got him early.
What?
Right? They got Vig Rames early.
I never seen that. Y'all saw that?
Come on now. They got Vig Rames early, man. Look at him. Look.
Supposed to be Melvin.
Right, they're supposed to be Melvin, like the brother said, man.
Damn Melvin, man.
Went from Melvin to damn Mary. Right? For the check. That's Melvin, like the brother said, man. You know? That's supposed to be from what's his name from Pulp Fiction, man. I can't remember his name, but he always played like a gangster, man.
Yeah.
Let me get this quick precept real quick. One more, bro. This St. Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. Right? St. Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. It reads, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. And I was kind of going to and fro today, a little bit late, but all I see is people buying lottery tickets. They want the 2 billion. They're spending hundreds of dollars on excessive tickets. so they can be covetousness, man. Not that they can make ends meet and have their daily bread, because that's what Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said. Give us this day our daily bread, for the day, man. But you have, the Lord said a man's life doesn't consist in what he possesses. So you have brothers that they want to hold on to things of this world, the check, suits and ties. I be seeing Jake on social media. That's every man show you suits, right? They showing this suit, that suit. I don't like wearing suits. I don't like wearing ties. I like wearing garments, man. I don't like this system, this world. The Lord said the pleasures of sin for a season. This is temporary. Brothers got it. All right, you could take it off if you want.
Y'all saw that movie?
Yeah, I seen it. I think I seen it a long time ago. Bits and clips.
I seen like what the brother just pulled up, pictures. But I never seen the movie.
Holiday Heart.
It was it's a video. I don't want to show it. I don't want anybody to see it. I hope it burns. But you got the internet. You put something on there, it's not going away. That's the digital footprint. It's a video of Shaq. I don't know if y'all seen it with Shaq and Kevin Hart.
No, I didn't see it. Sounds bad.
Yeah, that's a bad combination.
Well, y'all seen Pulp Fiction, right? What happened to that dude? That's what Shaq did to Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
over his heart.
Vig Rhames. So like Vig Rhames got popped in Pulp Fiction.
Mm.
He said the spider has caught 2 flies. Then Esau had to save him.
And that's what Shaq did to Kevin Hart. But they had their clothes on. It was for a commercial. I don't watch it, but just know it happened. Kevin Hart was like, "What are you doing?" They did that for money, for a commercial. Are you kidding me? This is the video too. A so-called black man having a suit march.
Madness. That's
black
folly.
Man march in suits, hoping to create a new image.
That's folly. You
got Esau in there. What?
Just making men's warehouse rich, man.
Yeah. Hey. Let's just say I don't got none of my suits no more. You said what?
No, I got a precept after you.
Gone. This Luke 4 and 1. And Satan doesn't always have to give you the entire world. Satan gives you bits and pieces of the world. Because as it say, let me bring that out in Sirach 19. It's 19 and 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich. And he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. Satan's going to give you small things to make you fall little by little, right? He doesn't have to. I'm going to read it. It's Luke 4 and 1. And Yahushua being full of the Holy Spirit, it's like you're being full of the Holy Ghost, returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being 40 days tempted of the devil. And in 40 days he did eat nothing. And when they were ended, he afterward hungered. And the devil said unto him, If thou being the Son of God, command this stone that it be made bread. And Yahushua answered him, saying, It is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God. So it started off small, some little as bread. And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, shewed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in the moment of time. And then it became all the kingdom of the worlds, right? And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee, and the glory of them that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord God, and him only shalt thou serve. Right? And then it says this, he brought him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down from thence. Right? So the point is this, that you have Satan, he's going to continually trying to make you fall. That could be through a little bit of money. That could be through that woman that you got a crush on at work that you look at and she's beautiful. Maybe I should get her number. Maybe I'll bring her into the truth. That's Satan. You got to know, what's Satan, what's Satan and what's not. This is one last one. This Second Maccabees 6. I'll jump all the way down again to the point. 6 and 26. Ooh, start up a little bit more. 24. This is literally, may not literally, but damn near similar to what's happening to this very day. This is very much so happening today, So let's read it. 2 Maccabees 6 and 24. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 were now gone to a strange religion, right? Because the Greeks was enticing them to eat pork. And so they live, and so they, through mind hypocrisy and desire to live a little time in a moment longer, that's living for a season of sin. That's living a season of sin, right? Should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable. Because this is an older wise man. And of course, the young people is looking up to him. The men of Israel, they look towards him, right? So imagine if he ate that pork. If he ate it, everybody would say, all right, well, he did eat it. Well, his back was against the wall. All right, I'll eat it too. All right, so he's been an example. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. So he's thinking about the Lord, right? And as he said, though the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Wherefore, now manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such an one as mine age requireth, right? It'll behoove you to understand right from wrong and wisdom, and to know wisdom, especially at his age. And he understood that. And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. So immediately when he said they tormented him. And when Kyrie Irving, said what he said, they tormented him immediately. They didn't kill him, right? It's not to the same degree. Nevertheless, we can see a strong parallel. Verse 29, they that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in the body by being beaten. But in soul am well content to suffer these things. Because as we brought out earlier in Wisdom of Solomon, 3rd chapter, our affliction is light. But and so it's like, and we die in outside of men, right? And it seems to be miserable. But our hope is full of immortality. And Eleazar, his hope was full of immortality. But in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. It says, I fear him, the Lord. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example for a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. And that's why they hate Kyrie so much, right? Because, the little kids, as brother brought out, the little kids that hoop all day, they see him like, oh, Kyrie, he did this. Oh, wow. That's all. I yield.
Let me bring this out with Luke. Right, it's the book of Luke, chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse number 16. Right, it says, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And you may feel like you done built so much in this society and done God knows what, man, and accumulated so much wealth. You understand? And this isn't true money and this isn't true wealth, man. This is where your heart should lie and desire. It says, and when he had thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul that has much goods laid up for many years, take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. And that's what a lot of people do, man. Right? They carnally deny the work of the Lord to eat, drink, and be merry, man. There's more work to be done. There's a whole lot more fasting, praying. We just got started. A lot of people just came into this truth. We've only been in the truth 2 years, 4 years, 10 years rather, man. Our forefathers were born into this truth. They were 90 years old. They were hundreds of years old. They always knew the laws, the commandments. Hey, Peter never ate unclean food, man. I mean, being born to the time he died. So they were really in this thing, man. And as you continue to endure this truth, you can't accumulate your so-called wealth and goods and think you don't have to continue to go hard. There's going to be more oppression and afflictions and things that brothers going to have to overcome. It says this, and I say unto my soul, soul that has much goods laid up for many years, take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul should be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? Meaning, where they're going to go. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. And you lay up treasure for yourself all the time, man. You may lay up treasure with your so-called multiple wives and all. You want all women. That's your treasure of this life. And you laying up treasure. You just got a million, God knows what, bracelets, man. You're just laying up carnal things, man. When the Most High is going to visit you in the nighttime. And he's going to require the real money, which is what? The talents, the fruit, the understanding, the yielding forth the growth. And if you don't have those things, and you don't get a Most High his talents, which is his money, you're going to be destroyed. While you're holding on and desiring all of these things, they're going to be destroyed and brought down to naught, man. I mean, we can't look at these celebrities and the wealth that they possess and what they own and the spirit that they move in and the fun that they have and lust after it, man. This is just a pleasure of sin for a season. And the Lord said, man's life is like a shadow in the book of Job, man, chapter 8 and verse 9. Psalm chapter 44, verse 4 all the way down, man. And this place is going to be gone just like that. Let me get that real fast. Because life is going to be here and then it's going to be gone. I mean, I don't know how old brothers are and sisters watching a lot, but I mean, you were in high school, then you blink, you're out of high school. You may blink, you have children. You may blink, now you're paying bills. And you may blink 2 more times, man, and all hell going to be break. You're going to be in the wilderness. Right, let me get this in the book of Psalms. Right? Chapter 144. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 144, verse 4. Man is like to vanity. His days are as a shadow that passeth away. Bow thy heavens, O Yahweh, and come down, toucheth the mountains, and they shall smoke. So the Lord said, man, man's life is like a shadow. So, I mean, seriously, you're going to be here 1 minute and gone the next. And whatever you're doing in this life is going to matter. So make sure that brothers aren't laying up carnal riches in the spirit of confusion. Brothers got
yeah, I mean, yeah, brothers got to make sure that they storing up knowledge and understanding, man. Now it's your time to be essentially what they say, getting right with the Most High, winning so-called brownie points with the Most High, man. Because if you're worried about the flesh and the things of this nature, you see what that gets you. You can have all of the money and wealth in the world, and you're still a Negro, a nigger. You're nothing compared to these elites that run a society, no matter how much you have. How much wealth? See, Jake, you think chasing the so-called white man's money is going to make you equal? You think dressing like them? Last time I checked, you had Jake, they start putting on suits and ties like the so-called white man, and they was getting lynched. They were still being lynched. How many pictures do you see of our forefathers in the 1800s, 1900s being lynched that dress better or even equal to the so-called white man, right? You still see those same things, right? Those things aren't disappearing. Just because you dress like the so-called white man or look like him or think like him doesn't mean you're not subject to persecution, man. You know, let me get this quick precept real quick, right? This is the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 35. It reads, who shall separate us? And I looked up real quick before I read that precept. I looked up the definition for brothers that don't know, right? Or sisters that may not know, you may not be aware of, right? It says the definition of buck breaking. Let me pull this up. And I'm not even sure how much I can read of this on a live. Okay, the alleged act of publicly, because we throw that word out there, but brothers may not know what that is. So don't go to images. We'll just read it. The alleged act of publicly punishing a male slave, typically by first flogging him, meaning whipping him. You've seen Roots, right? They demoralize you, dehumanize you, and make you submit to their ways, right? It's really a psychological thing, right? To instill fear. And that's why people coon. People are like, why is this guy cooning? Jake, you coon because you fear the so-called white man. You coon for security purposes. You coon either security and fear, and they go hand in hand. That's why people coon and sell out. Oh, don't say nothing against the so-called white man. Please, no. I'm kind of got it comfortable here. I'm making money because you're fearing losing these things. That's why people coon, right? That's why you have Eve who try to hold their son back from being vigilant and masculine. And you better not say something, boy. Don't look them in the eye, right? Don't rise up. Don't do nothing because she doesn't want to see you die before the time or see what happened to her husband that was buck break. You're conditioned psychologically to be submissive to the system. That's why mothers do that to sons. That's why brothers do that to brothers. It's nothing but fear of the so-called white man. And once you relinquish that fear of the so-called white man, which is probably the biggest spell and sorcery on our men, then you'll be free from this thing. And you'll rest in the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You realize the Most High created the so-called white man. The Lord used this in Isaiah 10 and 5. He called him the rod of thine anger. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? See, this thing is ran by the Most High, man. You have no reason to fear the so-called white man. He's just an axe, a puppet, a tool. You know? Now, buck breaking, it says, the alleged act of publicly punishing a male slave, typically by first flogging him and subsequently sexually assaulting or raping him in front of other slaves. Because they don't do this thing in private. There's no buck breaking in private in the middle of the night. They wait till the sun comes up, high noon, and they wait till your son is there. And your woman, and they get front row seats. They say, you want to be rebellious, boy? And they don't do it to the weakest slave with one arm Willie. They don't do it to one arm Willie. Right? One arm Willie coming out the chicken coop with 3 eggs in his right hand. He doesn't see, they're not looking up to one arm Willie. One arm Willie doesn't have any ideas, man. They're looking at the biggest, strongest Jake. Like the brother said, the people, or I think Ryan, you said that the man with the most power.
Right. Calm.
The man with the most riches. That's what they're looking at now. And that's why they have all of the Jakes on television now with a script. And you bet not speak up, boy. That's what they're saying. That's what we hear. You may hear, well, LeBron James, what do you think about the situation? We hear, what you better not speak up, boy. You better say what Master said, boy. And LeBron looks scared, man. You know? A lot of these guys look scared when they got to read these things, man. And we don't fear the so-called white man. Right? Let me read on a little bit more on this. Let's see. The practice involved the breaking, like you break in a horse. And then the scripture, a horse not broken in will become headstrong. he'll start doing what he want to do. So you got to break him. Let me get that precept real quick. Salaki. Was that Ecclesiasticus? Right, chapter 30. Quick precept. This Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 8. A horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. So if you don't break in a horse, he start doing what he want to do. He don't take no more correction. Right? Then it put the spirit in the other horses, and they become headstrong. So Esau said, well, look, we got to break this Negro down. He better confess. He better pay money. He better not say nothing again. And look, they're looking beyond the NBA. These Amalekites, they're looking at the Israelites when they make Kyrie do that. Hoping that the Hebrew Israelites, who know that they're Israel, behind the camera, hoping that they are fearful like this man. Because I hate to say it, God forbid that there are brothers with fringes on who are now scared based off of what's happening with Kyrie Irving. Oh boy, I don't know. Couldn't be me. I don't know what I would do. The first precept I thought about was Matthew the 10th chapter, 17 on down, when the Lord said, meddle not therefore what ye shall say in your heart. That's what I thought about when I saw those men in front of the camera. Because we're going to be in that situation. And the Lord said in Isaiah 65, 13 on down, every tongue that riseth up against thee, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me. So whatever situation we in, we're not going to fold through the Spirit, Lord willing, because that's the lot and a heritage of the servants of the Lord, man. You know? So what, regardless of what happens to so-called Kyrie Irving and these athletes and these men of renown who are folding, the men of the Lord cannot fold for the pleasures of sin. You can't fold for your job. Your job is about to be destroyed. The economy's crashing. Don't you know? It's $31 trillion in debt. Why are you holding on to your job? To sin against the Lord. You're holding on to all of these women. 7 women are going to be chasing 1 man. They're going to be destroyed. What are you holding on to tangible, corruptible, temporal things for? Let me get this quick precept. I'm going to pass it. Right? Romans chapter 8 and 35. Right? Jake, you got to, the more you have that in your mind, that this stuff has a ticker attached to it, the more inclined you are to separate from the society. Stop looking at this stuff as if it's permanent, man. Right? Romans chapter 8 and 35. Romans 8 and 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation or distress? See, sometimes distress separate men from the Lord. Like I think Yaradan was going into that. You down low and now you working a Sabbath. Right? You can't find a wife. Now you start committing lewdness and fornication. You can't pay your bills. Now you start doing God knows what. Women sell their body. Just gotta go out there, do what I gotta do. Right? They bundle up their coat and they up there, right? With their damn leg out, man. Baby, how you doing, baby? Right? Right? Hey, people from distress, they start free. Jake, you sell dope. You ain't never sold nothing before. Now you out there 2 in the morning, man, rubbing your mittens.
Trees.
Right. Walking on Penn North, man. Doing God, saying the most wildest things. Taking chances. See, distress separate people from the Most High. I'm not going to go through each one. But it reads, show tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword. These things separate men from the Lord. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. Here's the point. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come. Paul said an angel can't separate him from the Lord. A lot of brothers get beguiled by an angel. 20 angels come down. They have the 144,000 on. It just says 144,000. And they have ancient books, right, with ancient Hebrew all in it. And one says here, we want you to work on the Sabbath. This angel breaking it down to you says, yeah, you can sin. Now you can work on the Sabbath. He's showing you in the Hebrew, breaking it down. One angel said, yeah, you could eat pork too. Golden wings, 7 feet tall. You got it, King.
I just want to get one quick precept on what you just said. This Colossians 2:18. Let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humanity and worship of angels, intruding into those things which have not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind.
Hey, and the Galatians, the first chapter, right? The Apostle Paul spoke about angels too. He said, it's like I don't want to misquote it, but he spoke about though an angel came from heaven. Oh, you about to get it?
Yeah, I bring it up. It's the book of Galatians, right? Chapter 1 and verse number 8. But through we, so like it, though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
I got brothers listening to angels break the scriptures down wrong and they fall for it. Right? Angel come down, break it down that Esau could be saved. Well, dude, I ain't really look at it like that. I mean, it is a good point. Obadiah 1:18. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, but is that really talking about that? Then you start getting enticed, man. That's how you know you got it, brother. I mean, or brother, he real quickly, I got a precept too, right? And then you hurry and go to a precept for your false doctrine. An angel, a demon shouldn't separate you from the Most High, right? It reads, nor things present, riches, money, fame, clothes, job, the flesh, your thoughts, stress, depression, being alone, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua, our Lord, man. So you can't let nothing separate you from the Lord, man. You know, that's plain. That's plain. Brothers got it.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 29, and verse number 11. Lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. So your true, treasure and gold and riches is the knowledge of the Most High. Hey, the Most High said that in the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, man. It's like a ruby, right? You don't just get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Anybody could get the knowledge of this world, man. You can figure out what A plus B plus damn C means, man. You could go dig in so-called philosophy and get lost. Anybody could read his books, his terminology, and his understanding. But everybody can't get the wisdom of the Most High. Everybody can't understand the prophecies. Everybody can't dive into dark sentences and the parables. Everybody's not picked and chose to teach, have eloquent speech and understanding between, geography, common knowledge, and prophecy, man. These things are given as a gift, and we have to lay these things up. Now, if we lay up on the left-hand side the other things of this world, what are we going to show for them? Because by laying up riches, what do we show? We show what? Immortality, slaves, dominion, riches, honor, glory, right? Immortality, all of these different things, and sitting at the table, Lord willing, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
But on the left-hand side, when we accumulate all of these riches, what do we show for it, man? Nothing but dust and ashes. Being thrown in the oven, like it's saying Malachi the 4th chapter. It's going to burn like an oven, man.
Right.
These things are going to be finished. It's going to be nothing but dust and ashes. It says this, shut up arms in storehouse and thy storehouse, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. Right? So, I mean, the Most High is saying that the true treasures should be in what? Given, should be in understanding, should be in wisdom, should be in knowledge, all of these things of the Most High. Everything else essentially is madness, man. So accumulating it, like it says in James, I believe 3:15, is devilish wisdom. That cometh not from above, but it cometh from the spiritual demon Satan, man. These things aren't things we have to lay up and endure. So we have to let go of those carnal things and those desires. I want to get this last quick precept. All right. In the book, right, of 2 Corinthians. Get this quick precept. It's the book of 2 Corinthians. I'm going to start at 8 and verse. I'm going to start at 12. For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that man hath, and not according to that he have not. For I mean, not that any other men be erased and be burdened. So, I mean, Paul is saying you have to give. You understand? And that's very important when you read 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. So in the last days, whatever we get should be wisdom, and whatever we give should be wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and should be alms. Anything accumulating and getting in this world or giving in this world that isn't of the Lord and storehouses, it isn't of alms, it isn't of wisdom, that's devilish wisdom. And that's riches that are going to be destroyed. So you can't give your mind over to these things.
I got a quick precept real quick. This 2 Kings chapter 5, right? This 2 Kings chapter 5 and verse, let's start at 20, right? I'm gonna get straight to the point. Yeah, I'm gonna read 20. 2 Kings chapter 5 and 20. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman the Syrian, and not receiving at his hand that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. You don't want to have the spirit of Gehazi. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but Naaman the Syrian came to be healed of his leprosy. Elisha told Naaman the Syrian, Go wash yourself in the Jordan River 7 times. Eventually, after pushback, he did it. He wanted to offer gifts to Elisha. Elisha said, I don't want your gifts. Gehazi said, yeah, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to run after him. A lot of men, you run after the world. You're running after the materialistic things of the society, man. Right? The tangible, temporal things. Right? It reads, so Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master hath sent me. So then you start lying. And most I start putting spirits on. Where's the account of Elisha sending him to get gifts, man? My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. So this brother wanted, and he was under Elisha. It's not like he was a nobody. He was a somebody. But he wanted garments and he wanted money, clothes and money. Reading on. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged them and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. I'm going to jump down to the point. Verse 26. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with, I'm gonna read on Salaki. I'm gonna read 2 Kings 5 and 25. But he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? So Elisha asked Gehazi, Where did you go? You left? Where did you go? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. Gehazi said, I didn't go nowhere. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? So is it a time? Is it time for this, man? Is it time to stack up and chase your dreams? You're supposed to be following me. We got work we got to do, man. We have miracles that have to be done. We have to magnify the name of the Most High. You're leaving me and you're getting worldly possessions. You have left the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But guess what? The spirit searched out Gehazi. Elisha said, Went not my heart with thee, man. Meaning, well, you can't escape from the Most High. And all things are going to come to light anyway. So regardless of what you're chasing and what you're doing in the dark, what you're doing when the camera's not rolling, what you're doing when you're not at camp, what you're doing when you're isolated by yourself, and the Lord's heart is with you, man. It's not time to be getting down with this society. It's a blood moon tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. It's a blood moon on so-called election day tomorrow. Now, what they're saying is this blood moon It's the last blood moon for like 3 years, man. So God forbid we're here for 3 more years, man. Lord willing, this is one of the last blood moons. You know, Lord willing, and it's going to be a dark major blood moon. You know, and we know we're not going to go and throw coins at the moon and say no. This the moon is a sign of judgment, a sign of bloodshed. It's not to be worshipped. It's a sign of bloodshed and judgment and vengeance on earth, man. So, what manner of person should you be in the midst of a great awakening, World War III, prophecy, blood moons, diesel shortages, prices skyrocketing, and you are? And is it a time to receive wealth and riches, man? Or is it time to repent and come back to the Most High, man? Brothers got it.
Quick precept is Revelation 3:11. And it reads, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." You don't want to let any man take your crown by any means. And they'll let you, they'll take it. People try to take it, right, through shame, through guilt, right? And that's what they're doing to these people today. But it's gonna get exceedingly far worse with us. They're gonna try to make us fumble our crown by shaming us. You're racist. You really hate those people? Didn't they hire you? Didn't they do this? Remember when Timothy brought pizza to the thing for everybody at work? You hate him? He has 5 little girls. They're gonna shame you. They're gonna guilt you. They're gonna use every tactic that they have to make sure that you drop your crown. Right? Here's a quick account. Hold on, here we go.
Brothers can't afford to get too comfortable, because that's when you become the pawn. That's when they use you as. Anytime white people want to smooth some shit over, they go get that rich nigga and put you on TV. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I could tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done.
See, and he's shaming him. He's a coon. Shaq is a super coon. They're shaming and guilting Kyrie Irving. And they're in hopes that he'll say, okay, I'll do it. That man right there with the wig and the highlight and I don't know what they call that with the makeup on your eyes.
He got a negligee on.
A what?
A negligee.
I don't even know what that is.
A woman is woman's attire.
He got fake boobies. That's off.
Cleavage. He looked drunk too. Looked like he just got through freaking off.
8 feet tall.
Yeah, he looks out of breath.
Drunk.
Have you asked me questions like, Damon, now that you made this $13 million, and we're not counting, now that you've made all this money, let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out at you. You respond any way you want. Is there racism in America?
Sure. I think he should have been suspended.
And real quick, it's another video. I'm not going to get it, but they asked the same question to Lil Wayne. They put him on ESPN. It was that Edomite. They got Shannon Sharp and Skip. I think it was one of them. He said, Lil Wayne, is there a racism in America?
Yeah, I saw that one.
They asked him that straight up. And he says, well, I'm so privileged. He pretty much said no. He said no. I don't go through that. So there's none.
They know exactly who to ask too.
Yeah,
We wouldn't dare have one of us come up there.
Right.
No. If we
Shut
go up
that
there,
damn thing down, man.
we'll shake the hand. We'll say, somebody pass me your Bible and make sure it's KJV. And they say, well, hold up. Cut the commercial. And then try to persecute us.
Right.
And insult my religion.
You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck talking about.
I can't believe that we ain't talking about that. We're talking about this idiot.
No, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none.
Hey, and those bucks are broken. Now hold on. Hold on. This is another dude, Jerry Brewer. You know, they're putting out all these articles. It says delusional, defiant. Kyrie Irving is a stain the NBA can no longer ignore. It's a Jake that wrote that article. It's hard to see, but it was a Jake. Let me zoom in. That boy-headed Jake. There you go. He wrote an article that said the delusional, defiant Kyrie Irving. The point, I'm bringing this out is because they're going to use all of these tactics. They may put you in the news. This guy, he worked for so and so.
Right.
He's defiant now. They may put your poster on a work. They don't gotta fire you immediately. Esau is crafty. They're gonna shame you, make you go through different types of crap. And there was one more lady, Jamel Hill. She said something far worse. Hold on, here we go. If you didn't know, she's already a coon. And like y'all said, they know exactly who to ask. They know exactly. They get the token Negro.
It's like a big plantation, just a big plantation.
Yeah.
And we the Negroes in the back. I mean, in the back of the back, man. Chopping trees down.
I can't find it, but yeah, Jamel Hill, she's a coon too. She said, I watched the first 20 minutes of it and I stopped. Hebrews and Negroes, I watched the first 20 minutes, but I stopped because they denied the Holocaust. They didn't deny it, but you gotta watch it yourself. Ooh. I'd have to find it. I'm looking for it, but it looked like they temporarily took her down, or she deleted her Twitter, something. Yeah, but they putting out all these articles to shame them. So again, this is Revelation chapter 3, verse 11. And it reads, Salakia. And it says, 3 and 11. Behold, I come quickly. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. You let somebody take your crown and you're done.
Come. You got it right.
Con. Right. Brothers got something, anything else they want to bring out? Or brothers want to bring out closing precepts?
Brothers bring out closing precepts.
You got anything else y'all done?
Or
you gonna bring out a closing precept?
I got a closing. This is right, 35 and 5. And it reads, for all these things are to be done because of the commandment. The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. I should have started at verse 3. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord, right? And to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord. Hey, now's the time you definitely can't appear empty before the Lord. If you slacked off in the past and you're still alive, that's mercy from the Lord. That's mercy. But that mercy may not be extended until tomorrow. You got to make sure your hands are full when you come before the Lord.
Right? And I'm about to bring this out to class. We'll go to the book of Revelation, right? Chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Right? So everybody got to be watchful in this thing, man. Watch the prophecies, watch your spirit, watch your congregation, man, your brothers, your sisters. Now watch your household and your children, and watching all things. Be very vigilant in what's coming to pass on the earth, man. You don't want it to catch you like a thief in the night while you're sitting up there with this, getting drunk with this affecting of this life, man. And you're easily getting swayed to and fro to go back into the old man, go back into the grave, who you used to be, and start lusting after carnal things and desires of this world, man. So watch. It says this: remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast. So everything brothers have ever received in its truth, you understand, from the milk, the bread, the meat, don't be swayed in the last days. It's going to be false apostles in Christ. They're going to be false leaders and religious councils being held to overthrow the truth. You got to hold fast what this thing is, man. If you don't, hey, brother, you're going to be destroyed, plain upon tables. You're going to be sifted away. All your fasting, your prayer, and your reading would have been for naught. All the long hours you watch videos, you understand, the alms that you gave to the homeless and the things that you've done in righteousness will be what? It won't be accounted for a damn thing, man. So you got to understand how serious this is to hold fast your confession of faith, man. Like the Lord said, paraphrasing. It says, repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching all of these things, the Lord is going to visit you like a thief, and he's going to blow your candlestick out, man. And he's going to do it when you least expect it, when you're having fun, when you're in the dark, when you're in the world, when the Lord has visited you in the hour of temptation and you denied his name. You understand? Or where them spirits are right at the other door you're about to enter into, and you didn't remain spiritual, man. Because that was the ninth time this demon has hopped on you, and you keep bowing down to it. Whatever it is, the Most High is going to visit you like a thief, and he's going to blow your candlestick out if you aren't remaining to pray, read, and fast, and bow down into these words of life. Now, if you take allegiance to this world, you understand, and subconsciously deny the Lord and don't think that you are through your actions, then you will be a reprobate. You have denied the faith, and you have let another man take your crown. But if you stand firm and stiffly, like Ezra said, for the name of the Lord, then you'll receive immortality, and you'll receive every promise that the Most High has reserved for his children from the foundation of the earth. Brothers got it. You on mute.
You're on mute.
So like I was saying, I'm sure brothers read it, but I'm gonna switch it up a little for the lesson's sake. But I'm gonna read it again. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 23. It reads, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, and you can read this in the book of Exodus, right? By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And like I'm sure brothers went into, you have to refuse the titles that this world gives you. Millionaire, billionaire, African-American, Negro, all-star, celebrity, top athlete, whatever the case may be. Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. When you're called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, everything comes with it, man. Riches, women, you understand everything. Reading on. Choosing rather, here's the point, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. So we choose rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. You have to make a decision in this thing. Would you rather suffer affliction with the people of God and catch hell and deal with the stress and drink of the cup of the Lord for the kingdom of heaven's sake, or enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season? Right? Because this is an investment. You can get temporary pleasure and be destroyed, or you can deal with temporary hell and receive immortality. Which one sounds better? You weigh it in the balance. Temporary pleasure and deal with pain and destruction, or temporary pain and destruction, temporary pain and hell to get immortality. You have to make a decision in this thing, man. Right? Moses made his decision. Verse 26. esteeming the reproach of Mashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Because Moses had faith. He said, look, all this stuff is corruptible. These pyramids, Sphinx, Anubis, all this stuff is an illusion, a mirage. The Most High told me that this place is going to be destroyed, man. Hell no, I'm leaving Egypt, and I'd rather suffer affliction with the people of God, man. Right? And that's not just a one-time deal. Whenever you go off, whenever you freak off, you like the Lord says, lest there be any fornicator. He was talking to Israelites or profane person like Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Esau did that. The Lord was warning Israel, don't be like this devil who wants temporary pleasure and lose out on your birthright. Every time you sin and go off willfully, you're likening it to Esau. That's what the Apostle Paul was saying. Keep the commandments before you end up like this damn devil. You're profane. Every time you freak off, do something in the dark, backbite, whisper, you are selling your birthright and the promises of God for temporary pleasure, for the most vain things, man. So brothers have to be in that spirit. Stop being like Pharaoh, Esau, Egypt, these nations, carnal, corruptible men, man, and seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You know? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And we'll take questions like we always do for about an hour. Brothers could call in at 213-603-9096. Let's lock in. Let me see this real quick. 213-603-9096. And that PIN number is 94809-305. Right? With that, Brother Naquam.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Right.
Brother Yardan.
Shalom.